Hello everyone and welcome to the Movie Fanatics. My name is Brannock. I feel the need to apologize. I lied. I said I'd upload a new video every other weekend for the entire year, and I did for a while, but then I didn't. I haven't really felt like uploading for a while. I've had school and other things weighing me down, and I just haven't found the motivation to make anything. But now that summer is here, maybe I'll go back to the schedule, but also maybe not, because it's honestly more fun without one. And I do this for fun, after all. Feels like I spun a wheel to decide the topics for today, but these are 4 things that I'd actually like to discuss, so here we go. Here's The Exorcist, Doctor Strange 2, A Way Out, and John Hartford. One of these things is not like the other. We'll get there. Spoilers, I guess, for 3 of them at least. The Exorcist is a movie I never thought I'd watch, not because of its reputation or anything, it's just one of those movies that I thought I'd never get around to. But I'm glad I did, because though it's aged, I think it's really solid. The Exorcist is one of the most infamous horror films ever. When it first released, it caused quite a stir. It was released before super violent or just extreme horror movies like Texas Chainsaw or Friday the 13th came out, so this was unprecedented at the time. And that's why it's been given the reputation it has. It's not like unscary today, but I definitely thought it would be more terrifying than it actually is. But I'm well aware that that's because of when I watched it. This is 2022, and horror movies are a lot more extreme now than they were when this first released. People ran out of the theater, fainted, vomited. If I had watched this movie in the 70s, I probably would have been scared too. And that's one of the most interesting parts about this movie. It gives insight into the history of horror and its evolution. Because this was groundbreaking at the time. And I still like the movie despite not being scared by it. This movie is really carried by the incredible performance by Linda Blair as Regan. Putting the quality of your movie largely on the skills of a child actor is a risky move, and while I wasn't in love with her at the beginning, once she was possessed, she really shined. From a visual design and special effects perspective, The Exorcist is magnificent. The makeup for Regan later in the movie is incredible and unsettling. Everything was done practically in this movie, no CGI, and it all works so well. This movie is around 2 hours long, and while not much happens for most of the runtime, it's far from boring. Watching Regan's decline and her mother becoming more and more desperate is very engaging to say the least. But the exorcism scene itself is iconic, and it's easily the best part of the film. The Exorcist, though it's lost the impact it had years ago, it's still a great movie, with great acting, great effects, and a great story. 8 out of 10. I've decided to talk about a movie that wasn't released decades ago for once in my life. I was not going to see Doctor Strange 2, because I don't care, and I haven't cared about the MCU since Endgame, really. I watched Far From Home, WandaVision, and No Way Home, and nothing else since Endgame is released. But some friends were going to see it, and I'll never pass up a chance to go to the old cinema, so I went and saw it. It was okay. I was honestly not liking this movie at first, but it got better as it went on. Still, I'm not in love with it, and it's kind of a mid-tier Marvel movie. Kind of like the first Doctor Strange. Starting with positives, I like Doctor Strange as a character, and Benedict Cumberbatch plays him well. I like Wong because Wong is the best, and I like Wanda as the villain in concept, and she's a good antagonist when you don't think about her motivations. The special effects are good. That's the norm for Marvel, but the CGI still looks pretty or whatever. I like Raimi's directing. I really like the horror-esque parts of this movie. It's something you don't really see too often in comic book films, so it was nice. It's not brutal, but for Marvel standards, this film is actually pretty violent. There's the part where Wanda walks out with the robot juice on her and it's meant to look like blood. I like that a lot. I like the part where Captain T and Crumpets gets Darth Mauled. I wasn't expecting that. And the part where Wanda chased them through the sewer while limping reminded me of something else, which was nice. This movie is at its best when it's unique and weird. Like Doctor Strange possessing his own corpse and flying on the wings of lost souls is so wacky, bro, and I really enjoyed it. I think most of the problems just come from the story and the writing. First off, the script is hilarious. The lines are really clunky, and I kept giggling to myself in the theater whenever a dumb line happened.
Then it won't be Wanda who comes for her. It will be the Scarlet Witch.
I don't know how to feel about America. I didn't dislike her, and the actress who played her was great, but the movie kind of shoves her to the side, and she more so functions as a plot device than a character. She's just the thing that Wanda wants to get, which sucks. I wanted to like her, but the movie forgot to make her interesting. And Wanda's motivations as the villain are so weird, man. I feel like they decided that she'd be the antagonist first and then came up with an explanation later. Basically, she wants to go to an alternate universe to be with her kids, and that is justification for killing people in an attempt to kill a child. That's right, a child. She's willing to kill America just to get to her kids, and I don't know how we got to this point. She did the whole Westview thing, but she was never, evil. Now she is evil because the movie needs her to be, even if it doesn't make too much sense for her character. There's the one part where Strange is like, what will happen to the other Wanda in the other universe you're trying to go to? And she pauses and goes oh, I didn't think of that. But then it's never brought up again. And some of the editing is odd. The part where What's-His-Face explains dreamwalking honestly looks like a bad music video made in iMovie, and there will just be the occasional weird transition or weird cut that feels out of place. I also think this movie is trying to be too big while also feeling small. It explores the concept of the multiverse, of course, but doesn't show us different multiverses, except for the one part where they fly through like 14. Why couldn't we spend more time in the animated one, or one of the more conceptual ones? Because the multiverse of madness just boils down to the Illuminati one and the Barren Wasteland one. And all the cameos feel so out of place. They bring in Jim from The Office, and Patrick Stewart, and Captain Fish and Chips, and like the guy with the fork on his head. And they don't really do anything. They're just there so the audience will clap in the theater and then they all die. I like the way they die. I like when Forkhead gets his mouth removed. The effect was really cool. When Wanda popped out and snapped Patrick Stewart's neck, I jumped. That was cool. Again, I like the bit where Captain Colonialism gets split in half. That was neat. I just realized while recording this that I forgot about the other Captain Marvel, so that should just speak for itself. They were kind of cool for what little time they were in the movie, but they felt pointless because they didn't really do anything. However, this movie is a lot of fun. This was actually the first Marvel movie I saw on the big screen, and I now understand the spectacle of seeing one of these things in theaters. It is fun to watch, just like most of the MCU, and though it has its flaws, I don't hate it. If you're a person who's trying to keep up with all the MCU lore, then this one's probably pretty important, and it's still quite enjoyable. But I don't really care about the MCU anymore. Maybe I'll go back and rewatch what I missed and keep watching them in the future, but maybe I won't, who knows. Anyway, Doctor Strange in the Wacky Worlds is an alright movie, and you can see it if you want to. 6.5 out of 10. A Way Out is a 2018 co-op game where you and your pal escape prison to get revenge on some bloke called Harvey. The game is designed where you have to play with another person, which can be annoying for the lonely people out there, but it really is tailor-made for two. I played local multiplayer with my brother, and it was really fun because the game is kinda dumb. It's pretty campy, which makes it loads of fun to play with another person. There's this one part where you find a farmhouse and you can make the old couple inside leave by releasing the horses, and then the house is yours. You're just there to change clothes and steal a truck, but there's no time limit, so you can goof around the house indefinitely. And there's like 4,000 things to do. You can do the dishes, read a book, or sleep. There's a banjo, which really spoke to me specifically. Oh yeah, the characters. The two main characters are Vincent and Leo. One player plays as Leo, and the better player plays as Vincent. I was Vincent. Leo is in prison because he was selling a stolen diamond, was betrayed by Harvey, and arrested. Don't even worry about why Vincent is in prison. The gameplay is mainly walking around solving puzzles with your friend, but there are also sections like driving sections, or shooting sections, or 2D action sections, so there's some variety in the gameplay. While the story is kinda goofy, that honestly elevates the experience. And the game is littered with a bunch of little things to just interact with. It's really funny. There's this part where Vincent's wife is having a baby, so there's supposed to be a sense of urgency when you race into the hospital. You're in a big hurry, but you can also goof off and play Connect 4 or try to balance on a wheelchair as well. Vincent's supposed to be more rational, level-headed, and kind-hearted, and Leo's more reckless and hot-headed, but the roles were absolutely reversed when my brother and I played. I found it endlessly entertaining to be a bad person and not do what I was supposed to do. Like there's this one part where both players have to hold a button so that they complete a jump, but I thought it would be funnier to let my brother die instead, so I did that. And there's not much consequence for failure. I mean, you can kind of goof around with the game without much risk for losing progress. At first I was disappointed how little of the game took place in the prison, but I think it was actually more fun once we got out. My favorite levels were the house I mentioned earlier, the truck escape, the hospital chase, the part where you infiltrate Harvey's base, the bike escape, and the whole finale. The end of this game is so unexpected. It turns out Vincent was an undercover cop the whole time. And in the final section of the game, the players are trying to kill each other instead of working together. This whole plot twist is so out of left field, and I honestly love it. Eventually it becomes a 1v1 gunfight. The very last section of the game is a button mashing bit to see who gets to the gun first, and whoever does shoots the other guy. This game's ending is actually really sad. After all that, you're forced to kill the other player. When me and my brother played, we actually took this part pretty seriously, and I ended up killing him. Maybe it's not actually that sad, but we both thought it was pretty sad after we beat the game. We really got invested in the characters and the game, and so the ending hit pretty hard. Afterwards, we looked up the ending where Leo kills Vincent, and while both endings are good, I think Vincent killing Leo is the better ending. At first I thought all the little random things for you to interact with were just that, random additions, but now I think they added those so you would have fun goofing off with the other player, making it hit harder when you had to kill them. A Way Out is not groundbreaking from a gameplay perspective. It really is more about the experience with this one. Get a good pal and boot this game up, because it's a lot of fun. Like I said, it's tailor-made for the co-op experience, and the ending hits a lot harder once you played the whole game with someone you like. I definitely recommend this one. It's a gem you'd never expect to be so great. 8 out of 10. Okay, now the weird one. And I'm recording this part later. So I've been playing bluegrass banjo for 8 years, and John Hartford was a name I always knew, but I never really listened to any of his music. I've owned You and Me at Home for a while, and I've listened to it quite a bit, but I never really considered myself to be much of a Hartford fan. Recently though, I've been listening to his music a lot. What I love most about John Hartford is how unique he is. There really is nothing else like his playing, singing, or writing, at least as far as bluegrass is concerned. He mainly plays banjo and fiddle. Now, I don't know anything about fiddling, but I do know a thing or two about banjo picking, and his playing is quite distinct. Okay, quick history lesson. Once there was this dude called Earl Scruggs, and he basically pioneered the three-finger style of banjo playing, basically making bluegrass banjo what it is today. His influence is seen in countless banjoists in bluegrass, including me. And though Hartford has said he was greatly inspired by Earl Scruggs, there's really nothing like his banjo playing. He has his own unique style, and he doesn't really adhere to Scruggs style picking very often. It's most similar to melodic style, but it really is uniquely Hartford. In my experience in jam circles, Hartford tunes are very rarely played, which sucks because they're really fun to listen to and play. My favorites are probably Steamboat Whistle Blues because it has a really fun energy.
Or are you a-hanging to the best you had with a steamboat whistle blues?
Steam-powered airplane because it's loads of fun to play, and especially sing because of the quirky high part.
Oh, well, I drift went away on a steam-powered airplane.
And Gentle on My Mind because I think it's very pretty.
That keeps you in the back roads by the rivers of my memory. That keeps you ever gentle on my mind.
Two of those songs came from Aereo, an album I'd love to listen to and I'd love to own on vinyl one day, but I gotta get my record player fixed first. John Hartford has an incredibly invigorating energy in his songs and performances. Unfortunately for me, most of my bluegrass idols are dead, and you'll never get to see them perform live. And I really wish I could have seen Hartford live. From what I've heard and seen from past recordings, there really was nothing like a Hartford show. And you can't go wrong with the guy tap dancing while playing the banjo. I love John Hartford a lot. He was one of the most interesting parts of bluegrass music, and his songs are always loads of fun to play. And though he's gone, he lives on in his songs and the many musicians he's inspired. You know, sometimes a lack of coherence actually makes things more coherent. I hope so. Thank you all for watching. As you probably picked up on, I had 4 different ideas for this video, and I decided to put them all into one because I didn't know what else to do. For my next video, I have no idea. I'm either going to do a review of Interstellar, or maybe Breaking Bad, or maybe a review of the Star Wars movies. All of them. And I know, like, as I'm recording this, we are currently putting out the ones that me, Braden, and Adam did a while back, which you should go watch. But I was gonna do that anyway. So I might still do a review of each trilogy myself and put my bad takes on the internet forever. But I also might not, because that's a lot of work and I like sleeping. That'll be after the Spider-Man ranking, of course. And speaking of Star Wars, Kenobi. It's going on. Episode 4 just came out as of me recording this. And so far, I'm actually enjoying it. I will review that when it's finished, which I guess will be after the Star Wars reviews. If I do those, I might not. We'll see how I feel. But I'll try to get a review out at some point, and I just hope it's a positive one, because we've seen shows get ruined even though they were good for the first few episodes. Anyway, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this random topics video, and please check out like I said, the Star Wars trilogy things that we did. They're fun. They're long, so I don't know, make popcorn for it. I should stop talking. I'm gonna go now. This is Brannock from the Movie Fanatics, signing off.